Okay, so next up we've got Ryan, longtime Empire employee, if you want to call it that. I don't know. We're not a cult, I promise. So Ryan, let's see what Ryan said here. So I've been trying to get my first games job, so anything that could do to improve my portfolio, maybe some areas that I could focus on for future projects. Right. So Student Art Podcast, I would maybe, let's see. Okay, you're pro, so you've got a blog. I would put this in your blog. Or having it at the end is all right as well. See, that's the other thing. So if you want to be hired, I don't know if Ryan's in here, because Ryan does really good stuff. There are areas for improvement. His materials are really good. You can see now he's starting to get into environment work more so than just specific props and material work. One thing that I was talking to Martin and Alex about this, definitely, for sure, make an Instagram. Not a personal one, an art Instagram. Because the amount of times that I've wanted to like plug someone, you post their art and you want to tag them to it, you can't tag them to it. So it's just one opportunity that's kind of lost where you could have connected to their social, and then that social is then up to them to be able to connect to their other stuff, right? Things like Linktree, being able to connect all of your platforms or your social networks together into one place. It's super important. Super, super important. So if you don't have that, Ryan, it's time to make one. Yeah, so yeah, posting stuff on Polycount's good. Posting stuff on other art discords. You've got multiple discords out now. Definitely just, it's about exposure, right? It's kind of like a business Instagram. I mean, you don't have to. Pandu, you do not have to make an Instagram. But that's one avenue where you're not being linked, right? Online presence is really important. I think I should talk to one of us about, if we haven't already, to just really expand on like online presence and what that means. I think Alex has done some stuff on that on Artstation, but yeah. So materials look pretty good. There's some stuff that lacks a little bit. I mean, I think if you needed to, so you want to, your role goal is to be an environment artist. And I think your strongest piece in here, just looking at the thumbnails, is probably this one, the Cyberpunk hideout. Oh, that's super nice. Nothing is more interesting in an environment that's got some motion to it. What's wrong, Melissa? So these are, this scene's quite interesting. I think where this scene is breaking down, I think where this scene is breaking down is the interaction between the walls and the ceiling and the single color, right? If you can get some like this yellow that's here or this green that's on the ground. Muck's got no friends. You got this, Muck. Muck's friends with a bunch of material balls. Bringing these colors in somewhere else, like this briefcase, if that briefcase or this weapons case or whatever you want to call this had this yellow to it, right? That would be really nice. Or having this design, but then having like a stripe through it that's yellow, or just a design that unifies everything, right? With a scene like this, I would for sure look at things like Portal and just kind of see how they're tying spaces together that are actually quite empty. Because what I'm seeing here is a pretty empty space, right? Like really, you want to look at this shot here. You want to look at this angle. You go over here, and this is just stuff that seems to have been forgotten in the artwork itself. Just not thought about as to like what you can do with the space. And that's just an opportunity for people to poke at, right? Maybe not like consciously, but subconsciously they're going to think about it. But Yeah, like this material is really cool. I think that's being displaced. If it's not, then it's palm. It's some type of height information, or it's just straight up modeled. I think it's a material. And you can see like the grunginess that's up here is only on this asset for the most part, I would want to say. Like, where is that aging on the rest of the scene, right? Making sure you get that. Lights like this. Making sure you, what's the, my brain is blanking. What's the image called? It's like I something, it's abbreviation. It's like the pattern. IES, thank you. Thank you guys. So getting some IES images so that your lights have the information that you're expecting to come from a light source is immediately not only going to give you the cone of light that looks accurate, but also it'll change the way it looks here, and it'll change the way the lighting is baking, right? And those subtle changes in the way the light is coming from the light source will literally make the bounce lighting more accurate to reality than if you were to just have a point light or a cone light. IES are images. It's like so in film they would call them like cookie cutouts, I believe, where it's like you put a shape in front of a light and then the light passes through that shape and then you get the shape. But yeah, we're getting links now. But yeah, it's really important, I think, for lights. You're not a lighting artist until you start using those, in my opinion, as a person who does not light. I mean, I light freely at work, but, you know, I wouldn't call myself a lighting artist. But in my opinion, you need to be using those. If you want to have good lighting, you need to be using IES maps. Let's see here. Round table. We got the round table. Just gonna take this in. So I think what I will do with this one is I'll focus on the foliage and the table. So the foliage, while it's really nice, it's difficult to understand how it's spreading. Like you don't see the like the roots and the vines under the leaves to really help you understand how it's spread or how it grows. The other thing is to think about, like, you always see people putting this example, you've solved it here, which is great. The ivy or this wall crawling leaf plant thing has come up over the other side and then started to leak in, right? This one, for example, though, where is this coming from? Is it from outside as well, and it's just kind of curling around the side? You have to think about where plants start and how they expand and where they grow from. You'll see a lot of pieces where they have stuff hanging down, but you don't understand like where it's coming from. Oh, Big Z's got an IES profiles that you need in that Gumroad link right there. So, so keep that in mind. There's some stuff like this rug ending at the stairs evenly. Like, did they customly cut that rug to do that, or? Man, round stairs in reality sound like a nightmare, because I don't know how you have to custom rug thing to go up over that, or like you have to stop beforehand and then it just looks kind of weird, right? The next thing I wanted to talk about in this scene is the table, and a lot of what's going on the table is you've got paint and you've got wood pieces like being pressed together and nailed together to make a table. Now, I don't see how it's put together or how the panels are separated, so I don't really have an understanding of how it's constructed. I know that the pattern is telling me that it's wood, right? And I know that the paint looks like paint because of the way you've kind of worn the edge of it. So thinking about how to make me understand how it was built in real life, right? To understand how it was put together, even though it's fake in 3D. And then also getting the paint to pop a little bit more from the surface. So thinking about the roughness of the paint versus the roughness of the wood. Yeah, just those details. It's the same problem with the chairs, I think, where the chairs kind of feel like a single piece of wood versus something that's really been like put together. Yeah, I hope you see what I mean. This area here as well, like looks like there's a detail normal on it that's been boosted quite strong. So it's it's more so noisy than helping you understand the shape and the surface that it's trying to portray. And the detail here is different from down here. I'm assuming these need to be the two same surfaces. So the roughness needs to be, or not the roughness, but the surface noise or that normal needs to be matching between the two. To me, this looks like just a texel density issue, or like not understanding your surfaces well enough. Yeah. Oh, don't be afraid to add a little candle piece there. The other thing is you have to remember that this music's intense. You have to remember that in a lot of cases you're just taking a screenshot. I don't know if there's a video in here. There is a video in here. So you've got the candles, right? I'm sure there's got to be a free like flicker of like what is it? A little bit of a flame on that candle. The other thing is you see how the camera starts still. Have the camera start outside of the shot. Dude, that foliage looks really nice. Have the camera start outside, move forward, and record that whole amount. And then in your editing, just trim off the spot where it's starting to move. So you're automatically moving the moment the scene starts. Because it doesn't start from black either, which is really interesting. The particles in the air are pretty nice. The rug is a little low poly, and I'm not understanding that it's a rug or that like, I'm assuming it's a rug because the material the pattern that's on there, or the surface that it's portraying, the edge it's too low poly, and it doesn't really have a finish to the edge of to this large rug to really help you understand that it is a rug that was put together. Stem, what's up, man? How you doing? It's good to see you, dude. Yeah, I think that's all I really want to comment on. Wow, it's really interesting how that depth of field is not affecting those particles. That's a shame, because I don't know if you have control over that. See these particles here? Man, that bokeh is that's delicious. So hopefully this has been useful. I would wipe out maybe half of your materials and then just focus on your assets and your scenes. This scene as well, I think is actually quite simple. You could probably leave it as just this and just focus on the background here and the poly, like these edges that I can count, just trying to focus on like getting this shot to look really good, or even this shot. And then really look at what you can do for the surfaces of your materials in order to maintain resolution and quality. A lot of the times it's just going to be detail normals and just making sure stuff doesn't look like it's low res. Detail normals are going to do a lot for you on that. But yeah, I really like this one. I really like this one, and this one. I think you could actually remove everything except maybe these three from your materials, or this one as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 stay. The rest you could probably put in your blog and then call it good. Make another scene, fill it out, and then I would probably remove this scene. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. I don't think Ryan's in chat, so yes. But yeah, thanks for submitting your portfolio, man.